function. Gotta walk through a fire for what's important. And the warrior's blood through your veins is coursing.
He goes outside. He's got Ledford with him. Chris Blassie is going to win it at the line here in Daytona.
Every move, take your shot, don't be a fool. All you got and all you ever need is one bullet in the chamber. Please take your aim. Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? One bullet in the chamber. Please take your aim, boy. Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? Now the whole world's watching every move. Take your shot, don't act the fool. All you got and all you ever need.
He's gonna drive up into him. Can Kuntz hang on to it off the corner? Kuntz gets it.
It's one bullet in the chamber. Please take your aim, boy. Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna
Drivers
do?
side by side coming out of turn 4. Rapp with the 52 on the outside, the 99 to the inside. Rapp's gonna win it at Auto Club.
So what you gonna do?
If it's Tuesday, that means it's the Apex Energy Truck Series presented by Hank Thomas Performance from Slingshot Racing League. Welcome everybody, I'm Ellis Thomas alongside Chris Smith in the booth tonight. We're bringing you live racing action in the NASCAR trucks from Charlotte Motorspeedway for the Apex Energy Championship race. After 14 races and over 2,000 miles, these truck drivers are looking to settle it all on the track tonight. Later this evening, we're going to crown a champion in a race that isn't quite over yet, with Randy Bechdel still in striking distance of the championship favorite, Aaron Smith II. More about that a little bit later, though. NASCAR's been racing at Charlotte since its inception in the early 1960s. Once adorned with rugged rocks and boulders, this sprawling 550-acre property, originally owned by North Carolina's inaugural governor, Nathaniel Alexander, it also welcomed the presence of George Washington nearly 250 years ago. The track itself was meticulously designed and constructed by the dynamic duo of Bruton Smith and Curtis Turner. Turner, who was a renowned figure of his time as a moonshiner, had speed and handling at the forefront of his mind when conceiving this intermediate 1.5-mile circuit, featuring corners steeply banked at 24 degrees. Furthermore, the duo envisioned it as an ultimate test of endurance for both drivers and their machines, even playing host to the very first 600-mile race for stock cars. Decades later, the Charlotte Motorspeedway continues to embrace innovation. In '92, it made history by hosting the inaugural night race in NASCAR, and in 2011, it achieved a Guinness World Record with the unveiling of the world's largest high-definition television at a sports venue, spanning nearly 16,000 square feet. Chris, This was a track that almost never was. After opening in 1960, owners discovered massive amounts of granite needed to be removed. Very expensive process. As a result, it ran out of money less than a year later and they had to declare bankruptcy. Fortunately for us, however, track owners were able to quickly work to raise the money needed to keep Charlotte afloat and make it into what it has become today. What are these drivers going to have to do in order to make sure they don't go bankrupt on the track tonight and make it to the finish up front?
Well, you mentioned what it's become today, Ellis, and it's probably the most iconic mile-and-a-half racetrack on the NASCAR circuit, right in the heart of NASCAR country. This track has a lot of history to it. It's the home to a NASCAR Crown Jewel race, the World 600 in May, and it's the home to a Crown Jewel race tonight for these Apex Energy Truck Series drivers. We've got 133 laps here tonight, about 45 laps on a tank of fuel, give or take. Might be a little bit more than that, depending on how much fuel you can possibly save. And some high tire degradation. I think it's going to be really important for drivers to get their passing done maybe early on restart. So I think that we're going to see these restarts be really, really crucial for getting some passing done when you can, when you're actually close to some of these drivers here tonight.
Chris, that's one of the stories we're going to be following is how to pass, where to pass, and what these cars are going to be handling like. We're also going to talk about the championship as one of our stories to follow. But before we get to those stories, it's time for everyone's pre-race favorite, the playing of the national anthem. Everyone, if able, rise and remove your caps. We'll be back on the other end of the anthem. Hey, we're back here live at Charlotte Motorspeedway. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Chris Smith in the booth tonight for Slingshot Racing in the Apex Energy Truck Series presented by Hank Thomas Performance. Chris, every race, including the very last one tonight, the season finale, we like to cover some stories to get fans into the race, to understand what to watch for. Tonight's no different. We've got 5 stories to kick things off, and let's talk about points. The very first story of the night, Chris, points. Aaron Smith hasn't locked up the championship, but he can do so tonight by finishing 21st. Even if Randy Bechdel were to finish first and win the race, Aaron Smith could finish 21st and still win the championship. It's a 30-point gap, as you can see on the points board there, and that's a big story. We're probably going to be talking to Aaron Smith, but anything can happen before the end of this race. What is even just as interesting, if not more, Chris, is this battle for third. Look, it's a deadweight a tie for third, and it's only 12 points separating third through seventh, and that's important not just for bragging rights, but there's a handful of money on the line being distributed between those positions. So if you're one of those drivers, how are you going to be racing tonight? Are you going with the aggressive approach, or are you going conservative?
I think that last race of the season, I think this is the time where you let it all hang out and take that aggressive approach. No more just waiting around. I think that, once we get going and these drivers get a sense of like what the feel of the race is like, that's going to dictate maybe how hard or how easy they drive. I still maintain that I think drivers are going to view restarts and early, portions of the run as their best opportunities to pass. Sometimes these trucks on these mile and a halves, as the truck begins to tighten up, it gets very, very, very difficult to try to complete passes. So I'm looking for the start of the race and any restarts that we have tonight to be extremely aggressive.
Going to be seeing a lot of aggressive racing early tonight. And there's other things on the line tonight, not just the championship, not just third place in points, Chris, but we've got the Buttkicker Bracket Challenge final round tonight, which is going to see Wesley Pistol square off against Jacob Chase. Head-to-head, highest finisher will have run the gauntlet all the way over the course of the 5 Chase race postseason. And the winner is going to bring home a Buttkicker Gamer Plus package. They can hook it up to their rig, and they're going to be able to feel every vibration on the track coming from the car. And you can see just how much work Wesley Pistol and Jacob Chase have done to get to this final round tonight. So we're going to be keeping an eye on those 2 drivers over the course of the race with that Buttkicker Bracket Challenge. Tonight's also a crown jewel race, meaning the winner at the end of the night is going to take home a $25 paycheck. Does that change the way these guys race at all, knowing there's a little cash on the line at the end of the night?
Oh, definitely. Especially if you're coming to the checkered flag and, you might get a little bit rougher with that guy that you're side by side with coming to the line, to possibly get that little bit of extra cash. I don't think any of our guys would, intentionally wreck somebody to get that cash, but maybe squeeze up them in the wall a little bit if we have a side by side finish coming to the line. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised at all to see that.
Absolutely. And talking about finishes, where are we going to see drivers racing tonight? Are we going to see them on the low line, on the high line? Where do you think we're going to see drivers kind of preferring to be, or is it going to be a mixed bag?
It's kind of hard to answer. Historically on iRacing, I feel like this track has been one of the better ones for multiple grooves, like being able to run a little bit higher, and having some options. I just don't know if you'll have that with the truck, though. I think the truck kind of, locks people in on the bottom a little bit more than maybe like an Xfinity car possibly would. Just the little bit less horsepower and the extra drag in these trucks. So I think that the possibility is there. I just don't know if that's what we'll actually see.
Tires are also going to be an issue for drivers in terms of how they drive on that right front. Over the course of the run, we're expecting to see drivers get tighter. Can you do anything inside the car to make your car handle better further into a run? What can drivers do to make that happen?
Just back up your corner entry a little bit more. Just back that corner entry up, and when I say back it up, I mean just drive it in a little bit easier, feather that throttle, getting back into the throttle, don't mash it wide open. I'm not sure how much brake these drivers are going to be using, but if they do use some brake, maybe you can dial a little bit to the rear end to, possibly offset any type of tight condition that you might have.
And if they're tight, they're going to want tires, Chris. Pit road's dangerous. We've seen a lot of mistakes on pit road this season. Drivers are going to have to watch out getting down to speed for the pit road entry tonight at least 2 times over the course of the evening. Chris, let's go ahead, set the grid for the final race of the Apex Energy Truck Series presented by Hank Thomas Performance. Pole sitter Jacob Bradley going to be looking to scoop up his 2nd win on the season tonight. And all the talk's been about Aaron Smith. He's going to be starting on the outside of row number 1. They'll be joined behind them by Scotty Sobzak in that red, white, and blue 81 Pine Mountain Auto Machine. Dustin Scruggs, Chris, that's a driver who's starting 4th tonight. We've seen have a lot of speed late in this season. Keep an eye out for the driver, the number 11. He's got Scott Tompkins starting behind him in 5th. Ryan Hinkle in the 99, great job qualifying 6th. Randy Bechdel, Chris, he's got some work to do if he's going to beat Aaron Smith tonight. He's starting 7th in the 51. Chase Berry in the 46 going to be starting 8th tonight. Wesley Pistol, that Buttkicker Bracket Challenge driver, starting 9th. Johnny Rapp, final driver inside the top 10 tonight from the starting grid. Rye Jones is buckling up in 11th position. Patrick Colby going to be joining him on the outside of row number 6 and 12. Jacob Chase in that 43 truck. Our other Buttkicker Bracket Challenge driver starting 13th, only 4 spots behind his competitor Wesley Pistol tonight. Josh Ward, an early season winner a couple of times, is going to be starting 14th, looking for another one tonight. Patrick Piper starting 15th. Matt Kuntz 16th. Matt Scherf 17th. Lee Campbell, we'll hear more from him later. He's starting 18th. Chris Pearson, the Apex Energy Machine, 19th. Sean Johnson, 20th. The rest of the starting order is going to run through the bottom of your screen while these drivers pull their belts tight one last time, as well as we do in the broadcast booth. They've got just about 2 corners before they take the final green flag to start a race of the season, Chris. Jacob Bradley, Aaron Smith. What are you hoping for on the first corner? Just looking to get in there clean? Or are you looking for position? Do you think Aaron Smith's going to hang it out on the high side?
I think for this first one, you want to be clean. We've heard that there's a possible loose condition at the very beginning on these cold tires, so hopefully we don't see any early crash trouble. I think that they'll take it a little bit easier on this one.
And pace car peels off. We'll see if they take it easy for the final time of the season. Jacob Bradley's going to lead him down to the green. The flagman waves it. We are underway here at Charlotte Motorspeedway for the Apex Energy Championship race. Bradley gets away clean. Aaron Smith consistently slides into second place there. A little bit of conservative approach from Smith on the entry there. Scotty Sobczak in third. The battle was between Dustin Scruggs and Scott Tompkins, Chris, in fourth position. Side by side as those drivers head down into turn 3. The 25 of Tompkins lurches to the inside. 11 of Dustin Scruggs hangs it out. He's wound up on the outside. We'll see if he tries to stay in it, and he does. They're side by side, still back to the line, but we got a battle for the lead going on. Aaron Smith not wasting much time, going for the lead on the inside. That yellow bright HTP Hank Thomas Performance 70 gets up to full song here, but he's got Bradley still on the outside down the backstretch into turn 3.
Yeah, side by side right here, Jacob Bradley. Let's see if Jacob pinches it. Yeah, he's getting down really, really close to that right side door, trying to make him a little bit loose right there. Aaron Smith does a nice job of holding on to it. Still side by side as they come across the line.
Exciting race headed down here into lap 3, down into turn 1. It's Bradley on the outside. Aaron Smith, the championship points leader, on the inside. Chris, this is a dangerous position if you're Aaron Smith. Are you thinking conservative? Are you concerned just about getting that win? I think we just got our answer. There's the 70 tucks into line behind that red, white, and black number 50 of Jacob Bradley. Meanwhile, they've got a battle behind them. Tompkins and Sobczak side by side.
Yeah, they were really close right there off turn 4. Looks like Scott Tompkins might have tagged the wall just a little bit. No harm, no foul, as they got really close right there off turn 4. Riding on board right here with Scott Tompkins. He's looking to his left side right there at Scotty Sobczak. Really close. Sobczak's going to give him room right here off of turn number 2. His driver is thunder down this backstretch.
What's the danger in a driver like Scotty Sobczak? As you watch them coming off the corner, the natural kind of urge for a driver coming off the corner is to run it up high a little bit. What kind of danger does that present for a driver when they're side by side?
Talking about Scotty Sobczak.
Are you the outside car? Are you thinking about that, or are you just trying to race him off the corner?
Definitely, you're definitely thinking about it.
Oh, we are under caution. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's see if we can figure out what happened. Oh, it looks like Tony Caputo.
Yeah, Tony Caputo on that number 7 gets turned by the 83 of Cordell Lofgren through the tri-oval here, through the dog leg, I should say. A little bit of contact, not sure. Miscommunication between those drivers a little bit. I think that 7 was there, and I think that's a case of 2 cars maybe coming together. It looks like the 83 might have gone up into the 7 a little bit more.
Yeah, let's go back here. Yeah, see, Tony Caputo's already got damage to his right side. I want to see if maybe something else had occurred that, might have resulted in that just a little bit. And yeah, it got kind of tight right there, didn't it? I'll be interested to see how this is ruled. I'm see if I can get a little bit different angle at it right here. Yeah, I think that's definitely probably going to be on the 83 of Cordell Lofgren. We'll wait for the judgment from Sam Maxwell, the race controller. But yeah, it got a little bit tight coming in that second dog leg. You got to be careful about that here. Sometimes it just forces you to give a little bit more room to that driver to your outside because there's a couple of turns on the front stretch.
Just a couple of turns on the front stretch you got to watch out for. We're under caution early. Lap 6 here of the Apex Energy Truck Series presented by Hank Thomas Performance Championship race right here. Jacob Bradley is scored as your leader. Scotty Sobczak second.
Got drivers coming down pit road.
Yeah, I think we've got some drivers electing to come down pit road pretty early here.
Aaron Smith, one of them.
Yeah, interesting strategy. Only 6 laps in. Are these drivers kind of gaming the fuel strategy? Our fuel window, Chris, was somewhere around 45 laps. I'm thinking this helps them possibly turn this into a two-stop race.
Yeah, and it looks like everybody... Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, yeah, I think I know what did happen with Aaron Smith right there. But yeah, he gets it going, and it's like he stopped real quick. You know, Aaron Smith has had some pedal troubles always. This has been a major story within the slingshot community, is Aaron Smith going for this championship right here, and he's had some serious pedal problems. But yeah, it looks like Chris Pierce, Chase Berry, those guys took fuel only along with Aaron Smith.
And this is going to put Aaron Smith back to 20th position, Chris. We mentioned that danger zone was right around 21st, 22nd. 25 drivers in the race tonight, so there's certainly an opportunity for Aaron Smith to fall out of that 21st position. So we'll be keeping an eye on that championship points leader here in the finale tonight. A couple other things to keep an eye on, folks. It's lap 7. You've got 13 laps left to head over to either our Instagram or our Facebook page. The links for those are in the video description if you're watching on YouTube. And guess the top 5 finishers for tonight. We're giving away $75 to anyone who can guess the top 5 in the correct order. And that $75 will be split if we have multiple people guess correctly. But we haven't given away money all season. That's why the prize purse is built to $75 over the course of the season. So let's go ahead, get you onto Facebook and Instagram. The links are in the video description to go ahead and take a guess at who you think is going to be the top 5 finishers. Get them in by lap 20. Folks, getting ready for the restart here, about a lap away. Lights off on the pace car. We've got an interesting race going on, Chris. We've seen Aaron Smith, who was started second and then kind of dropped into second after an early battle for the lead. Came in and take some tires. Maybe you mentioned some hardware issues. Here he comes again. I don't know quite what might be going on inside that 70 truck right now.
Yeah,
Is he popping off?
He took fuel the first time, fuel only. I don't think anybody... I'm trying to look right here. Nick DeCesare might have taken tires. Tony Caputo, I think he was getting damage fixed more than anything. I don't know if he took tires. I think that Aaron took fuel both times right there. So, yeah, it looks like he's trying to go for a little bit of a fuel game possibly here, which, you know, kind of, you know, it's a possibility. You know, who knows? We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. It's really, really early.
Speaking of early time to drop back for the 11 of Dustin Scruggs. I think he's asked for an EOL. I think he's been a really courteous driver when it comes to not being in the championship and racing these guys in the championship. I think that might be what we're seeing from the 11 truck right now. Also, update, Cordell Lofgren of the 83 was given the EOL. Right now, pace car peels off. We're getting ready to go green once again tonight. Lap number 8. Jacob Bradley shoots off like a rocket on that restart. Scott Tompkins in the 25 holding up that outside line just a little bit. It's going to allow the first 4 to get single file. Now the first 5 head down into turn number 1. Single file all the way back through number 7, Randy Bechdel. First battle going on the track right now. I take that back. Wesley Pistol and Scotty Sobzak. This is a battle for third. Buttkicker Bracket Challenge driver Wesley Pistol darts to the inside of the 81. He looks for position number 3. And if all what we've seen tonight is to kind of be trusted, that 94 is going to get that position on the inside over the next lap or 2. Wesley Pistol, strong position. Put him up to third. Pistol in the 94 moves into third position.
Yeah, he does, and you know, we're not used to seeing Wesley Pistol up near the front this far early in a race. You know, he normally moves his way up through the field, but nice start from Wesley Pistol. He's on it tonight, and he's got a mission in mind as, almost some contact between Scott Tompkins and Johnny Rapp.
That was definitely some contact. That was an aggressive move there by the 25 Scott Tompkins.
Contact and Scott Tompkins, those words just kind of go together, don't they?
Yeah, they call him Mr. Excitement. He drove a Jimmy Spencer Mr. Excitement throwback 8 scheme last week at Darlington, Chris. And as soon as we say that, that 94 ducks his nose down to the inside of Ryan Jones. He thinks better of it, headed down into turn number 3. But the other battle going on right behind them, you can probably see it in the rearview mirror, is Johnny Rapp, who's also going to draw to the right side and almost a little bit more contact with Scott Tompkins back there, Chris, in this battle for 5th that is intensifying at a rapid rate. Someone turned up the candle on these two drivers, and they are going at it. I don't know if it's maybe there's a competition for the best driver.
Oh, they get together again
in the numbers, but they're mixing it up early. Scott Tompkins and Johnny Rapp, that is.
Yeah, they were banging doors down the backstretch that time too, and they're still running really, really tight on one another. And Hey, it's the last race of the season. If you're going to let it all hang out, this is definitely the race to do it in.
It is definitely the way to do it in the final race of the season. Scott Tompkins in that black and blue 25 on the inside of Johnny Rapp in that Mission Barbecue Silverado, but no going there on the attempt to pass. They'll try it again down into turn 3. Tompkins has Scotty Sobczak in front of him. That might serve as a pit for Johnny Rapp, who's going to get the momentum on the outside, but as soon as I say that, he gets in the back of 81 of Scotty Sobczak, and Sobczak serves the same purpose as he did for Johnny Rapp, now for Scott Tompkins, but Rapp comes out on the better end of that deal, put Rapp up to 5th position. Rapp in that 52 enters the top 5 for the first time tonight. Ooh, Chris, intense racing early. I'm looking back there at Patrick Piper, got a nice little battle going on with Josh Ward, the 38 and the 92 back and forth. Ward in that black or blue and yellow truck to the outside, Patrick Piper in the green and yellow machine there on the inside. They continue to duel down the front straightaway in turn 1.
Yeah, here's Piper riding on the bottom right here. Looking to the inside of Josh Ward. Got to be really careful at this point of the run right here. The newness of the tires has worn off, so don't really have the danger of necessarily getting loose, but possibly sliding up, pushing up a little bit in that driver on the outside as Ward's going to clear Piper.
And the battle in this really probably about 6th through 16th is intense right now. All the way back to Danberg in the 15th position, Chris. These cars are separated by just about a car length. In many cases, less. We almost see contact between Piper and Ward there, but another battle going on between the 13 of Matt Kuntz and the 32 of Sean Johnson right behind them. They've got another 2-car battle, Jacob Chase and Lee Campbell. This is intense as they head down into turn 3 and 4. You could lay a blanket over these drivers right now, Chris, and one of those small Walmart blankets where you think it's going to be bigger, but it's not as big as it is.
That's right, yeah. And I think that what we're seeing right here is, we brought up the multiple grooves for it, and I kind of had a question whether or not, it would be an option tonight. It's definitely an option right now, early on in the tire life. These drivers are able to utilize the top to try to maybe clear somebody that they might feel like they're a little bit faster than at this point of the run. Man, that's really close right there between Lee Campbell and Sean Johnson, working their way off turn number 4.
This is an intense race. I thought we were going to have some contact there for a minute between that 14 Goodyear machine of Lee Campbell and the 32 Tide ride of Sean Johnson. I think it's actually a moon pie ride, but it's in the theme of the old Tide car. Sean Johnson slots into the number 12 position there. Lee Campbell up to the 11th position. That 14 truck having a good run out there tonight, Chris. Lee Campbell up to full song here pretty early on lap 18. I think we might have a little bit of information about Lee Campbell. He's our spotlight driver of the night. Every race, or a lot of the races this season, we've taken an opportunity to learn a little bit about the drivers and help our fans kind of understand a little bit more about each driver on the track. Tonight, we're going to hear from Lee Campbell. We'll go ahead and put him in the side-by-side. We'll continue to follow him while we hear a little bit about what makes him tick.
I'm a service manager at Wallen Tire right now. I've been there for about 2 years. Prior to that, 35 years as a store manager at AutoZone. So yeah, I'm old. Don't know what kind of question that is, but I prefer vanilla. Watching the 79 Daytona 500, of course, with the classic Allison and Yarborough fight. So that's kind of what got me hooked on racing. I would say meat sauce and mustard. Gotta have meat sauce. Talladega is one of my favorites. Also Watkins Glen. Any of the road courses I really like to race. Not that good at it, but I like to race. I do enjoy it.
Chris, we heard a little bit about Lee Campbell there. Fun to learn about some of the drivers as we watch him right now having a good run in 11th position. Lee Campbell, I know he's got some fans watching in the chat right now at home. Shout out to them. Also shout out to everyone who's joined our chat so far. John Rapp, Brendan Garvey, Brandon Ayers. Looks like Nick DeCesare's in there. Stu Venman, Lovely Days. Don is here as well. Joe's here. Julie, my mother-in-law, is here. Shout out to everyone watching at home. We're watching a lot of good battles on track right now. One other thing I want to mention before we head back to the action as we watch them snake down the back straightaway, go ahead and say hello if you're watching but you haven't been in the chat all night, or maybe not even the season. We're going to give away a Brad Keselowski diecast to a random fan who just says hi in the chat and is comments something in the chat. Doesn't matter what, but good luck, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Right now, Chris, battles between the 32 and the 99. They have been going at it for the past couple of laps. This is a battle for 11th between Sean Johnson and Ryan Hinklin. That duel going back and forth has kind of allowed a Buttkicker Bracket Challenge driver, Jacob Chase in the 43, to slide up into that fray as well.
Yeah, Jacob Chase having a really solid night tonight, running pretty good right here in the 13th position, about where he started. But unfortunately for him, Wesley Pistol's up here side by side for third. So yeah, as decent of a run as that is for Jacob Chase, he's got some ground that he's gonna have to make up. It is early; he does have some time, and anything could happen. But Wesley Pistol definitely making it difficult on Jacob Chase tonight.
Speaking of making things difficult, Chris, you can probably know what battle I'm going to direct you to. You're already on it right now. This Scott Tompkins-Johnny Rapp battle for the 5th position has just been lighting up on my data scoreboard right now. They've been going back and forth. It seems like every single lap, and they have been a millimeter away from disaster. It seems like it would take at least 2 hands to count it on right now. Man, this is intense.
Yeah, it is, and you see right there, Johnny Rapp wrapping the bottom, no pun intended, a little bit better right there through turns 3 and 4, and that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on as we go throughout this race. Oh, as he's trying to pick to the outside, he drives it deep on the outside. Man, Johnny Rapp really sailed it in deep into turn 1 right there, driving it in really hard on entry to turn 1. A little bit uncharacteristic from Johnny. We don't typically see him as the driver to drive it in as deep as maybe some of his other competitors, but he's on a mission tonight, and he's looking to get to the outside of Scotty Sobczak here. He's going to cross him over.
Yeah, Chris, this is a different Johnny Rapp than we've seen all season. I'm seeing a fire in this driver in that 52 that has been missing this season here in the finale. Gonna be careful there with Scotty Sobczak to his outside, but he's been slicing and dicing through the field like a butter knife tonight in that 52. He is on fire. That's a rocket ship going down the back straightaway for Johnny Rapp. He's won a Truck Series championship before. We also mentioned, Chris, he is going for this 3rd position. He's only 12 points out of 3rd position in the points, and that's the difference between money and no money in the final points payout. So I think there might be a little bit of cash incentive for driver number 52 tonight.
There might, yeah. Like I said before, there's no sense in leaving anything on the table. Unfortunately, I think he's going to get hung out right here. We're seeing some options there on the top. I don't know how long you can run up there, but man, Johnny got put on the bottom, and you saw Scotty Sobczak go around him. You saw Randy Bechdel, Josh Ward all go around him. Now here comes Scott Tompkins trying to go back around him on the top.
Oh, the battle that we continue to see. I'm not sure it's the battle we want, but we're getting it every single lap here between the 25 and the 52. This has been the most hard-fought battle on the track, Chris. This is showing just how important track position is at a track like Charlotte. You mentioned it. It's maybe a little bit easier to pass on the outside than we thought it would be tonight, but every pass is so much work tonight, Chris. And speaking of passes, as we watch Scotty Sobczak and Wesley Pistol kind of go back and forth, I don't want to get lost and kind of forget the fact that we've got a battle for the lead brewing between the 50 and the 91 up front. Jacob Bradley currently scored as your leader on lap 30 as we look to cross over the quarter mark of this race. Rye Jones has kind of tracked him down. Right now, they're running almost identical lap time up front. I saw Rye Jones make a charge earlier about 10 laps ago, kind of backed off after he wasn't able to get to the lead, but I see him creeping back up to the back bumper of that number 50 machine right now.
Yeah, and I'm seeing everybody sort of migrate just a little bit up high. It seems like everybody has kind of noticed that the speed has shifted a little bit to that top lane. Rye Jones, Jacob Bradley, Scotty Sobczak, Wesley Pistol, they're all up there. I saw Randy Bechdel still running the bottom down there in 3 and 4. We'll watch him down here on this end and see what he does. It's like he's still running the bottom.
We got 3 wide back here in the 17th position. I just wanted to see if we could get the camera over there real quick. It's sorted out right now, but why is that important? It's because the number 70 of Aaron Smith, our points leader, was right behind that 3 wide battle, and that was an intense moment. Smith sweating bullets back there, holding his breath. We almost had an event with championship implications. I'm sorry to interrupt, Chris.
No, it's all good. Yeah, and this is important because, you brought up Aaron Smith coming to pit road, and Aaron has a pretty comfortable lead, a pretty commanding lead, but nothing's guaranteed in this deal. With Randy Bechdel, we're somehow able to lead the most laps and win the race tonight, that really, that is almost max points. I know he didn't capture the pole, but that's almost max points there. And Aaron Smith maybe gets caught up in a crash with, all the cars still running right now on the track. That could be it. That could be the championship.
And this is a big battle going on in front of them. A little bit further back in the field, sure, we're looking at Patrick Colby and Chris Pierce back in 14th and 15th, and they have been going at it. This pack has been running together like a hornet's nest, it feels like, for the past 4 or 5 laps or so. And again, this is back 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th in the field. Chase Berry in 17th back there in that black and blue number 46. And Aaron Smith is finding himself right in the midst of this, Chris. Chris Pierce having a good run in that Apex energy machine. I'm a little surprised to see Patrick Colby this far back, 34 laps into the race. Usually we're used to seeing him try to move up front pretty fast, but maybe a little bit more conservative of a approach tonight for the driver, the number 9, looking to the inside of Jacob Chase.
Yeah, we are used to seeing Patrick Colby a little bit further up near the front, but anything could have happened. Maybe a little bit of a crazy restart there. Maybe got him back in traffic, and we are seeing. I'm looking at my scoreboard, Ellis, and it's all lit up in red. It just shows you how close everybody is to each other, and it is super, super tight from the front of the field, Jacob Bradley, all the way to the back of the field.
It is an intense race. This is I think Don in the chat just said it. This is very competitive race tonight. This is some of the most competitive racing we've seen all season. Our drivers are always going at it, but we have seen more side-by-side racing tonight in the first 36 laps than I remember seeing in a while. These trucks are, I'm not saying they're glued down, but I'm a little bit surprised we've seen the 2 lanes develop as much as we have. And Chris, just for a fuel update, around lap 50, if we take into account the caution earlier, around lap 50 is when we suspect drivers are going to have to come in. That's about 15 laps from now, so they're over halfway through a fuel run, and this high line's still working for a lot of guys.
Yeah, it is, and we're going to go back up here to the front of the field. I hate to go away from this battle right here.
Another great battle.
Yeah, we're going to go up here to the front of the field and look at, to see what the leaders are doing, and it looks like Jacob Bradley maybe about a truck length lower width-wise, off the wall than Rye Jones is. So Rye Jones still, committed to run the top. Looks like Jacob Bradley a little bit higher, definitely on this end down here in 1 and 2 than he was before. Scotty Sobczak. Looks like Randy Bechdel has shifted to the top down here in turns 1 and 2. We're going to see if Randy runs the bottom down here in 3 and 4 like he has been doing, or if he... Yeah, he's going down to the bottom still. Randy, that's kind of like his signature move. He feels like that's his best shot and his best chance to definitely save tires. I'm kind of like the same way. I've never been really good at running the top without just completely destroying my tires. So I've kind of always been the exact same way as that. And looks like Randy Bechdel is looks like he has the approach that he wants to be, a little bit versatile here. I want to run the top in 1 and 2 and maybe the bottom in 3 and 4.
Yeah, and it looked like he was making it work there for a lap or two, that 51, drawn up to the back bumper of the 94, giving him a show. Right now, Randy Bechdel working at the 4th position. Wesley Pistol, who's running 4th currently. We're not used to seeing Wesley Pistol be as aggressive and run up front as early. We thought of him as more of a long-run driver, Chris. But tonight, he's been up front pretty early and often so far tonight. Speaking of up front, Jacob Bradley and Rye Jones, Chris, we want to keep an eye on this battle for the lead. Rye Jones is almost even with the back bumper of Jacob Bradley here on lap number 40. Rye Jones is often the driver we talk about as really aggressive early, but he's put together a nice complete run at least 4/5 of the way through it right now as the 91 tries to do what he can with the number 50 and find a way around That time they take the both taking the outside line. Rye Jones about a car length back for the lead here on lap number 41 of 133.
Yeah, and it's been a very consistent season for Rye Jones. I feel like this has been almost a statement season for him, and he's kind of had a little bit of a reputation for being extremely aggressive on track. I don't think that's changed necessarily, but I think that maybe the decision making has improved definitely. Deciding maybe not to stick his truck in certain gaps at certain points during the race, and he's racked off a lot of top fives this season. I know he's looking for a win tonight. He would like to have one for the season here, and but he's definitely racked off a lot of top fives, and he is in the midst of that battle for third in points.
Battle for third. Speaking of battles, Chris, let's jump back to 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. Aaron Smith back in this fray. It is getting quite intense where the champion favorite is running right now. Behind the 99 and the 9, Ryan Hinkle and Patrick Colby fighting for position right in front of Aaron Smith here down the front straightaway. Off into turn 1. It's now 2 by 2. These 4 drivers chasing down Lee Campbell. Colby almost in the back of 32. Sean Johnson.
Man, that got me all up on the edge of my seat right there. I thought there was definitely going to be some contact. There might have been some contact between them right there, but they all did a nice job of keeping it straight, and Aaron Smith's going to motor around him on the top. Now, we haven't had our eyes on Aaron Smith the whole time. I saw him running the top there, and we saw how fast he was up there on the top. Wonder if he will do that again, try to possibly do that again. He's going to be, looks like he's going to, play the smart game right here and sort of ride behind these guys, but we've seen him on the, glued to the bottom for a lot of this run.
Speaking of glued to the bottom, Rye Jones in second place was glued to the bottom down through turns 1 and 2. He shifts up to the outside line, Chris. We had a very close battle. 3 drivers on top of each other for the lead. Jones loses a little bit of momentum in that 91 down the front straightaway. Sobczak ducks to his inside. We've got a battle for second place. Scotty Sobczak, who started in third position, looks to improve at 1. Move him up to second position. Driver 81 looking for the lead, Chris. About 5 laps left in this run before we believe we're going to start to see drivers coming in. Lee Campbell, Chris, running in number 11th position right now. He's coming in this time by. There's Pistol, there's Ward. We've got our first set of drivers on pit road here on lap 45. The short pit, going to try to get everyone off, get everyone caught by surprise here. What do you make of that call to come in, be the first ones to come in to get tires?
Well, we see Sean Johnson, Patrick Piper, Chris Pierce. They actually came a lap earlier. I think this is a good move, especially if you're in a lot of traffic. Coming maybe 1 lap, maybe 2 laps before some of the drivers around you. That's not a huge detriment over the course of the tire, the tire life. So, like if this thing were to go green after this. So, really good move to possibly gain some track position as this battle for the lead is hot and heavy.
Yeah, hot and heavy indeed. Jacob Bradley and Scotty Sobczak trying to get something going down there on the inside, and the 81, Sobczak and Bradley side by side, out of 2 down the backstretch. That 81, Chris, has been shot out of a cannon the past 5 laps. He is running the fastest laps on the track right now. Is he going to try to slide up in front of the 50 out of 4? Will the 50 of Jacob Bradley give him room? Not this time by. Sobczak's going to have to pinch it down to the apron there. Certainly through the dogleg down into turn 1. He's got the preferred position, at least for now, on that 81. If he wants to slide up in front of the 50, he's got the space to do it. New leader in town, P1 81, Scotty Sobczak, Chris.
Yeah, Sobczak goes to the lead right there, and right behind him, I was going to bring up before the pit stops right there, Randy Bechdel had made the pass. Here comes Sobczak. Oh, man.
Oh.
Man, I don't know if Jacob Bradley was planning on pitting that time, but he definitely made the decision. As Tompkins locks him up coming on pit road right there. He definitely he called the audible if he didn't, because he had to slow up big time to avoid the contact with Scotty Sobczak. So these 3 leaders right here coming to pit road.
And that takes a good bit of skill to do that, to make that audible call and not crash the truck, Chris. So great job by all those drivers just coming in, including Scott Tompkins, who had to lock up the brakes, but averts a massive crisis there in the 25. Looks like they all come to the attention of their crews in good shape. That hands the lead over to Randy Bechdel, but he's coming down pit road on lap number 49 here. Bechtel's going to hand the lead over to Johnny Rapp, Chris, who's been out on these tires for nearly 50 laps so far. We're going to wait for him to come into pit road, watching Randy Bechdel come to the attention of his crew in just a moment. But Rapp's got about a 1.5 lead on second place Ryan Hinkle right now. So Rapp has inherited the lead on lap number 50, Chris. We had mentioned green flag pit stops being a dangerous point in the race. Right now, we're working through this first green flag pit stop cycle of the night here on lap 50. Every driver doing a pretty good job so far. We've seen it transpire over the course of about 3 laps so far. Rapp continues to stay out on the track. But one of the drivers I'm watching in terms of lap speeds that they're running right now, Chris, Ryan Hinkle running a little faster than Johnny Rapp.
I was going to bring that up. Ryan Hinkle is really fast tonight, and I think he's going to come to pit road maybe this time by... No, he's going to stay out. That right there shows you just the difference in speed, though, between fresh tires and older tires. But, yeah, when you compare him to Johnny Rapp, these past maybe like 3 or 4 laps, he has been about 0.2 of a second quicker than Rapp. So... Ryan Hinkle, learned a little about him and his sim racing this week in the Discord. I was really impressed with some of the things that I heard, and even more impressed right now watching him out on track right now, be able to have this long run speed.
And this isn't the first time we've seen this from Ryan Hinkle. We've seen this a couple of races this season. As Rapp comes into pit road, it's going to hand the lead over to Hinkle, but we've seen this from Hinkle multiple times this season where he just comes on late in a run, and that truck gets up to a full roar here as it has on lap 53 of 153. Talking about Ryan Hinkle in the 99, that bright orange truck, that driver out of Pennsylvania right now, led the last couple of laps. Great run going for Ryan. We mentioned learning a little bit about his toughness as a race car driver this week. He finally relinquishes the lead to come down pit road in that 99, but kudos for a couple of fine laps there that he was running speeds as fast as the leaders had run all night long in that number 99. He's going to throw the lead over to Chase Berry, Chris, and we're watching the number 46 truck. You mentioned it, the difference between tire wear, how fast those trucks will go on new tires is really highlighted watching these trucks on new tires go by Chase Berry right now on lap 54 of 133.
Yeah, I mean, we go up here to the right in front of these guys. I think that once this thing cycles through, I think Rye Jones is going to have the lead right here. But you got Jacob Bradley once everybody pits. I think it might have spoke too soon. I think Josh Ward might actually have the lead once all this cycles out. But, man, we look right behind these guys and we see... Actually, I'll come to it eventually. We got Chris Pierce and Sean Johnson. Those guys came to pit road a little bit early. They've gained some track position. Oh, as I think Pierce might have tagged the wall right there off of turn 4. Looks like the truck is straight, no harm, no foul. But, yeah, they've gained some track position. They're going to be a little bit slower than some of these guys, for these next several laps here. But that's okay. They've, they're worried about those people that they were racing against. It's like Lee Campbell right behind them as well. He's gained some track position by his early pit stop, too.
Hey, right now, we're getting some comments in the chat. Appreciate everyone shouting out as we watch great racing tonight. Everyone commenting on what amazing racing this has been. A couple people asked us how we're doing, Chris. I think we had a pretty good weekend. We got to go to Talladega with a couple of other slingshot drivers to watch the Talladega NASCAR race just a couple of days ago. Went with Rye Jones and Scotty Sobczak and some of his family and friends, and I had a great time out there. I got a little sunburnt. You told me not to wear sunscreen. My wife did. Yeah. It's not that I didn't listen to her. I just forgot to wear the sunscreen.
Yeah.
So it was
that's
more
why you should always listen.
Issue.
You should always listen to your wife, right? That's just a good
tells
lesson.
Me that all the time.
Yeah,
don't
listen to me at all, because that would have been bad information. I walked away without any sunburn, which I was really happy about. Yeah, I had a great time as well. First time officially meeting Rye Jones, Scotty Sobczak in person, and yeah, had a blast with them. We got to see Corey LaJoie turn over right in front of us on the last lap. Luckily, he was all right, but that was a pretty good view of that.
We had some great seats, and you got great seats right now watching this racing. Green flag pit stops almost complete. I think we've got 2 trucks left to come in. That's Patrick Colby and Chase Berry. Nick DeCesare just came in a lap or two ago. I know we've got some Nick DeCesare fans, the Garvey family, watching the race right now. They're saying, show us the Cheez-Its truck. Unfortunately, I'm not showing the Cheez-Its truck out there, the 00 and 22nd right now, Chris. You showing the Cheez-Its truck?
I've got the Carolina Hurricanes.
That's what I'm seeing too. So I'm sorry to crush the Cheez-Its season going on right now for the Garvey family in lovely days. But hey, that's a good looking truck regardless. I know Nick probably would prefer it to be running a little bit higher than 22nd right now, but maybe it feels like it's on ice. I don't know.
Oh gosh.
Little hockey joke, but yeah, Nick DeCesare, a Carolina Hurricanes fan. I don't know what kind of season they're having. The NHL season is going on right now, right?
I think they're into the, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they're in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I know that the NBA playoffs have begun, and their seasons kind of coincide, don't they? Either Stanley Cup playoffs have begun or they're about to begin. I'm not sure.
I think they have begun, and I think the Carolina Hurricanes are in it, so I know they'll be happy. Nick and others will be happy about that. And a couple of other things we're watching right now. I'm just looking for close battles on the track. Oh, Chris, do you know who's found each other out on the track again? You want to take a guess?
Say it ain't so.
Back in 14th position, we got a battle going on between the 52 and the 25 again. Johnny Rapp and Scotty Sobczak. As Josh Ward's inherited the lead, we do need to mention that. But we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm curious to see what goes on between these two drivers as they head down through turns 1 and 2 right now.
Yeah, and Scott Tompkins came to pit road. It looks like about 4 laps before Johnny Rapp did. I think Johnny Rapp I think that he might have just passed Scott Tompkins. I'm not 100% on that, but Johnny Rapp's got to gain a little bit of track position. He lost a little bit there in that exchange, I think, with his decision to pit when he did. Matt Kuntz just in front of him is one who gained some time. And, if this thing goes green, he's going to, these guys are going to kind of go back to where they were. The trick is that, you want to maybe be ahead of some people that you're possibly racing against, at the end of this one right here. So if Matt Kuntz can be ahead of, some of the drivers that he was competing against before the green flag cycle began, then, hey, it's going to be mission accomplished for coming to pit road when he did.
Absolutely. That might very well work out for Kuntz, getting passed right now by Johnny Rapp. But you mentioned the strategy difference there could pay dividends a little bit later on in the race. Speaking of strategy paying dividends, Chris, let's talk about the new leader in town after that cycle of pit stops. Up front, Josh Ward, two-time winner earlier in the season. We've seen him have a consistent season. He's 5th in points, so he's part of this 3rd through 7th battle that we've talking about all night long as we watch him go by the lap car
good
42
view
of Paul Thomas. Yeah, great view on board that number 92 watching Josh Ward, Chris. But what got him out front? What kind of strategy took him to the front? How did that work out?
So, just looking at the stint of Josh Ward right here, it looks like he came to pit road about 18 laps ago. And I'm trying to go through here and see if anybody, and I don't think they did, nobody had a faster time on pit road than Josh Ward. Nobody had a faster time in their box than Josh Ward. So what that means is he got on pit road really, really well, was very efficient down pit road, meaning he probably maxed his speed as fast as he could go. And he hit his marks getting into his box, which that does affect your time in your, for your pit stop. If you do slide a little bit long or a little bit short, your pit crew has to go to you. So that's really, really good for Josh Ward. He had the best time getting on a pit road and the best time in his box. So, and he made up some ground by pitting early.
Yeah, and it got him a pretty good lead over Rye Jones and Wesley Pistol. Chris, one of the cars that I've seen just consistently be fast tonight is that number 94, Wesley Pistol. We mentioned him being one of the Buttkicker Bracket Challenge finalists going up against Jacob Chase. Right now, if it finished at the moment, he would be the winner of that Buttkicker Gamer Plus unit. Now he's feeling some really good vibes right now.
He is, and he is...
No rim shot on that one.
I'm not gonna. No more groans from me. I'm just learned to expect it, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So we talked about this earlier. It's a little bit of a different Wesley Pistol than what we've seen all season. He was fast last weekend at Darlington too. So these last couple of weeks really turned it up, and it's not like he hasn't been fast all season. I think he just had a lot of bad luck and. maybe not the qualifying efforts that he wants to have, so he kind of has to play catch-up for the whole race. But, you know, tonight he started in the 9th position, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he started in 9th. So, you know, when you start up there, you know, you can see the front. That will, you know, that definitely puts you in a good position. I think Wesley is just one of those drivers that, you know, there's all kinds of drivers that are like this. You think about real-life NASCAR drivers. Dale Earnhardt was like this. You know, not the best qualifier, but, you know, once you get in the race and get the rhythm, you know, those guys are rhythm racers, and long green flag runs really benefit them.
Right now, driver really having the best long green flag run. You mentioned it, Wesley Pistol, looking at lap times. He is running the fastest laps on the track. A little bit more even with Rye Jones that time by. I think he caught up to the back bumper of him, which might have slowed him down a little bit, but he was running a good 2/10 clear of the leaders the time before that. So you mentioned it, Chris. This car is on a rail. This truck's on a rail, running a full song right now on lap number 69 of 133. Coming to lap 70, we are past the halfway point. Dawn Hilbrans mentioned it in the chat. She said, among other things, first of all, yep, wife is always right. Agreed. But she also said this is a fast-paced race. She said if you could say that 5 times fast, you get an award. So if you're at home watching, little tongue twister there, it is a fast-paced race. Just about 33 minutes into this race, I believe, if I'm looking at the time. 42 minutes into this race, and we are over halfway. So this is a fast-moving race as we watch these fast-moving trucks, particularly Rye Jones. Now back bumper of Josh Ward going for the lead. A little 3-car tandem, a little 3-car tango for first position here on lap number 71, Chris. Wesley Pistol working that inside line real fast, but Rye Jones answers up top.
Yeah, he does, and, you know, behind these guys, we've got, you know, the duo of Jacob Bradley and Randy Bechdel, those guys running in 4th and 5th. Trying to watch the lap times here, and, you know, they've been a little bit quicker than these guys ahead of them. Scotty Sobczak as well. They've got about 3 laps fresher tires, maybe 4 on the drivers in front of them, so... you know, this could become a 5, possibly 6 truck race before long.
Man, speaking of a lot of trucks, Chris, can we put the camera back on 19th and 20th? Patrick Colby and Cordell Lofgren going at it right now with Jacob Chase, another Buttkicker Bracket Challenge driver. This is that right before we switched over to that, it was getting intense between the number 83 and the 9, and it continues to intensify between the 83 and the 43 as Cordell Lofgren gets into the back bumper of Jacob Chase, giving him just a little friendly push down into turn 3. I doubt Jacob Chase interpreted it that way, but the 83 of Cordell Lofgren sitting 20th, going for 19th on Jacob Chase here on lap number 73.
Yeah, unfortunately, and we're riding on board right here with Jacob Chase. Looking back at Cordell Lofgren, Cordell gets right up to the rear bumper. He's trying to loosen him up a little bit, but he's going to try to roll the top here. Unfortunately for Jacob Chase, not the night that he wanted to have tonight, I don't think. Looks like he is looks like he's struggling with the handling of that F-150 just a little bit, and I know that he wanted to, you know, possibly be able to give Wesley Pistol a run for his mate. But, hey, it's still a long ways to go, and Wesley Pistol, you know, anything could happen, and Wesley's not taking it easy tonight. He's up there. He's racing for the lead. If I'm Jacob Chase, don't give up. That's my message to him, is not to give up. You know, anything could happen here.
Anything could happen, absolutely. Shout out to another driver right now, running right behind Jacob Chase in 21st. I know Matt Scherf got Kathy Scherf and some other family and friends watching on YouTube right now. They've said hi in the chat. In 21st position, that I'm always taken a little bit aback by how much I like the yellow numbers on the side of these trucks. I probably would have never put that on my own truck, but right now, that number 4 having a pretty good run. He's kept the truck clean, Matt Scherf has in number 4. He's running some pretty fast lap times back there, just having a good race. 21st, consistent laps, right? You're just trying to log laps. Matt's been a racer who's raced with us for a while, but he's a road course driver. He's a road course specialist, self-professed, that, you know, oval is not his skill set, but he is just mad respect for Matt, who's come out here week in and week out and just logged laps, right? Tonight, having a good, clean race. I know that hasn't been the case every week. I know he had some hardware failure a couple of weeks ago that was pretty scary to watch, that car just go head on into the wall. I think it was an internet connection failure, but good run, clean run going for the 21 or the 4 right now in 21st position.
Yeah, he's running real solid right here, just keeping that truck clean. And I mentioned it before, Ellis, about how this 3-truck race for the lead would be tightening up, and here it is. Randy Bechdel, Jacob Bradley, they have caught these front 3 right here. Now, I'm going to be curious to watch this right here with several laps on these tires now. I'm be curious to see if these drivers can possibly do something with these guys from them. I know they have fresher tires, but man, catching them is one thing, passing them is another. We've seen this a little. You can pass. You can pass. I've been pleasantly surprised at the passing tonight, but you know, here we are, 78 laps into this race. Are they going to be able to make their way around these guys, even with fresher tires?
Yeah, you mentioned it. Catching them is one thing, passing them another. Kind of a classic saying in motorsports right now. We're going to see if that holds true. Josh Ward's your leader, Ryan Jones second, Wesley Pistol third. Just coming into frame, we've been talking about him. Jacob Bradley and Randy Bechdel rounding out the top 5. Scott Sobczak about 10 car lengths back, but you mentioned this battle for the lead is picking up on lap number 79 of 133. You could throw a blanket over the top of these drivers, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe a king-size bed blanket, but right now, battle for third position. Jacob Bradley, Chris, first pass he's attempted to complete in the top 5. Bradley going to go underneath the 94 of Wesley Pistol, who chooses to run high, leaving that door open for Randy Bechdel. New P3, move Bradley up to third. He's got his sights set on the 91, his Payday Racing teammate of Ryan Jones, who's currently running in second of that black and purple number 91. Jacob Bradley, Chris, got a win a couple of weeks ago, but he's only got one win on the season. I know he'd love to get back to victory lane as a former champion in our Xfinity series a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, he would. You know, we were talking about that in the pre-race. Like, can you believe Jacob Bradley's only won one race this season? It seems a little bit wild, but I think it kind of speaks to just how wild the truck series is. You know, these trucks just put on a little bit more unpredictable type of racing. They kind of even the playing field a little bit and sort of bring everybody a little bit closer together, I think. You know, and you know, sometimes they just suit certain people's driving styles a little bit more than others, and you know, Jacob Bradley has got that truck up into the third position now and got a lot of speed. It's about to become 6 trucks up here. I've been watching Scotty Sobczak back here in the 6th position. He's been one of the fastest trucks on the track, and I think he's one that we want to keep an eye on towards the end of this stint right here. I felt like right before that first stint ended, before those pit stops, that Scotty Sobczak was probably the fastest truck, maybe along with Randy Bechdel on the track there. So, yeah, we're going to be keeping an eye on him as well.
Battle brewing for second position. Bradley looks to the inside of Ryan Jones. No questions asked. 50 takes over P number 2. He gets a nice run on the 92. Jones has got to be careful. He's going to leave the door open for the 51 of Randy Bechdel, who thinks better of it, headed down the backstretch, down into turn number 3, Chris. We've been mentioning it all night long, the difference in the lines and the lanes that drivers are choosing. Right now, Randy Bechdel moves down to the inside. He's going to get to the inside at the start-finish line. He's going to have third position that lap. Can he continue to clear Ryan Jones into turn number 1? That's the big question. He's going to slide up in front of him. He's not even going to need to. He could consistently, unquestionably clears the 91. Move Randy Bechdel into the third position. Ryan Jones back to 4th. Wesley Pistol back in 5th, Chris. But here we go. Battle for the lead shaping up. Jacob Bradley on the inside. Outside is 92 of Josh Ward, who's led several laps, at least the last 15 laps, after acquiring the lead on a green flag pit stop earlier in the race around lap 45 or so.
Yeah, and if we know anything about Josh Ward, he is going to race hard. He is not going to give up this lead to Jacob Bradley. You know, one thing that, you know, I want to mention as well, I think Jacob Bradley might have learned some things on that first stint that he's putting into action here. I think that he looks to me to be a lot faster over the course of the long run here. As he's looking back to the inside of Ward, he's definitely, I think he saved his tires a little bit better maybe on this stint.
I do think you are correct. Jacob Bradley is someone that we've really been impressed with, that that tire-saving ability has really grown over the past couple of seasons. Is Ward going to try to cross him over down the backstretch? He thinks better of it, tucking back in behind that number 52. Move Jacob Bradley up to P1. There's a new leader atop the scoring pylon here at Charlotte Motorspeedway. And Chris, you heard it right. There is a scoring pylon at Charlotte Motorspeedway.
Yeah, you know what track doesn't have a scoring pylon? The one we were at on Sunday.
That's right. More and more. It's been a big discussion in NASCAR recently, the fact that tracks are tearing down their scoring pylons, which fans have always relied upon as kind of a beacon for finding where their favorite driver is. Obviously, we've got the Chris Pierce graphics ticker on the left of our screen, but you don't have that in person, so scoring pylons are usually important. So we watch Josh Ward not only give up the lead, Chris, but he gives up second position. That 51 has come alive the past couple of laps. Randy Bechdel, a man on a mission. I don't know if it's going to be any doing for the championship hopes he might have, but he wants to win this race at the very least, pride being on the line.
Yeah, and, at the end of that stint, I brought up, Randy Bechdel and Scotty Sobczak, drivers really standing out that had a lot of speed, and see if Randy can do something here with Jacob Bradley. I don't think Jacob's going to let him go here. Despite the fact that is his teammate behind him, I don't think that he's going to let him pass. I think that he's definitely going to race him hard because I think Jacob Bradley is, just as interested in the race win tonight as Randy Bechdel is in the championship. So, yeah, but I don't know if he'll have a choice here if this thing plays out the way the first stint demands. Randy Bechdel is driving hard. He is not driving it easy here. He got really close to the wall there off of turn 2.
He is getting really close to the wall. Randy Bechdel with a fire in his belly that we haven't seen in a little bit. He wants to win. Chris, second set of pit stops underway. Josh Ward and Ryan Jones both make their way down pit road from third and fourth position. This is maybe going to force the hand of Jacob Bradley and Randy Bechdel, Chris. 43 laps left in this race. They can't afford to get too far behind or they're going to have to work their way back up. So we're probably going to be seeing them in the next lap or two, you think?
Yeah, I think that they will come earlier this time than they did before. I don't think that they can afford to give up a lot of ground to these guys. Well, I take that back. They kind of caught them. They're at lap 42 here. We got about 42 laps to go in this. Yeah, so
I think I'm about the same amount.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to come pit road here in the next lap or two. Can't wait around.
Based on the experience, it took them about 40 laps to catch Josh Ward, who had assumed the lead with an early pit strategy. They're going to have to come in, and I see the 50 slowing. Randy Bechdel elects to stay out, but Jacob Bradley along with Wesley Pistol in the 94 are going to make their way down pit road. Pistol gets the wall just a little bit on entry, Chris. Going to be looking to see if he got down to speed. That number 94 looks like he might have been a little hot blocking up those brakes on the way in. That's going to be a big storyline if so. Randy Bechdel assumes the lead here. Lap number 92. He can't wait too long as Jacob Bradley has come in. His main adversary, here comes the 51 down pit road, Chris, along with Scotty Sobczak. Pretty much seen the entire top 5 pit at this point watching that replay of Wesley Pistol. And I think we might have lost Chris on audio, so we'll continue to look at the running order as they run. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, I think that Scotty Sobczak is on pit road as well, possibly this time. And, yeah, I think that Wesley Pistol got away with one right there. His truck is unscathed. I don't know about a speeding penalty, though. We'll have to watch and see.
Yeah, we're going to be keeping a close eye as Aaron Smith assumed the lead, but he quickly comes down pit road. Going to be keeping a close eye on that number 94 of Wesley Pistol to see if he gets any sort of penalty. I'm not seeing any movement in his box or towards his box, so I think you mentioned it, Chris. He might have gotten away a little bit lucky there. Johnny Rapp inherits the lead on lap number 94. Chase Berry second, Ryan Hinkle third, Nick DeCesare and Matt Kuntz. I know we got some Very Racing Motorsports fans in the chat. Shout it out in the chat. Let us know who you're rooting for tonight. Not just our Very Racing Motorsports fans, but let us know what driver you think or want to win this race here in about 40 laps or so. You could take home a Brad Keselowski Castrol Next Gen diecast. We'll choose one lucky commenter to give that and send that prize to later on in the race.
Yeah, and back behind Johnny Rapp right here, Chase Berry. It's like he's got a mirror full of Scotty Sobczak, who's going to go to the inside right here. And we got Ryan Hinkle right here in third. He is, like I say, he's going to run long just like how he did before. He's got that Mountain Dew live wire car truck, really fast on the long run. Do you ever have, what'd you think of Mountain Dew live wire, Ellis?
I think I had it a couple times. You know, the one I preferred was Code Red.
Yeah.
And I think that went away and then came back for a while. I like the Baja Blast one now from Taco Bell.
I was always
I normally like orange, but I don't know.
I was always a big fan of live wire, and I think the one thing that made me like it a little bit more is because you could only really get it during the summer. It seemed like it was like a seasonal variant of Mountain Dew.
That would make sense. Well, hey, maybe if we see Ryan Hinkle run in our summer series starting at the end of May, he might be running a special edition summer live wire paint scheme in those Gen 6 NASCARs as well. More about that later on. But hey, right now a good run regardless going for Ryan Hinkle in that number 99. Chris, well, one thing I did like back then was Pepsi Blue. You remember that?
I do remember Pepsi Blue. I was not the biggest fan of it, but
I feel like that was an underrated soda. I feel like it was ahead of its time, maybe.
yeah. And, you know, I don't drink much soda anymore. So I don't even know, like, you brought up Code Red, and that got me to thinking, I don't even know if they sell it, like, in stores today.
I don't think they do. I think that went off the shelves quite a while ago. And, hey, speaking of sodas and all the nasty chemicals you can find in them, you know what? You can get energy for biggest bang for your buck with not bringing in a lot of harsh chemicals and dyes and things like that. Apex Energy is coming back this summer, Chris. They're going to be relaunching in June. I know Chris Pierce is running that Apex Energy truck. Shout out to him. Running 18th, not the speed we're expected to see out of the 65 of Chris Pierce, especially in a track like Charlotte with the high banks and the high speed. We had seen Pierce really develop his skill over the course of this season. Just an off night tonight. Every driver has them. He's getting towards the end of his college semester. He's probably burned out. I totally get it, right? We got exams coming up here as college students. A couple of college students in the field. Tony Caputo, Jacob Chase out there as well. Shout out to any other college students in the field that I'm forgetting. But, yeah, he's going to need that Apex Energy coming up for final exams here in a couple of weeks, I would imagine. But, you know, doing pretty good. He's kept his nose clean out there tonight.
Yeah, and also he has made his pit stop. You know, he came to pit road 6 laps ago, so see if he can make up some ground over the course of this run as more drivers come to pit road. But, yeah, we're going to be watching really, really closely. Johnny Rapp, obviously, Chase Berry, Ryan Hinkle, Cordell Lofgren, those guys still have to make their pit stop. But once it all cycles through, if it does without any type of caution interruption, that's going to be the battle for the lead right there. Josh Ward to Rye Jones, currently running in the 5th and 6th spots. With Jacob Bradley just he's that close right there to Rye Jones. So, and he is really rolling right there through 3 and 4. You can see the difference in speed. And there's just 2 laps and difference in tires right here. Here comes Bradley. He is going to get to the inside of Rye Jones. He's feeling like possibly that this is his race to lose.
I think so. The way he's driving right now, cutting through the field, we mentioned like a butter knife, the 50 of Jacob Bradley. Move him up to 5th position. He's on the freshest tires. He's going to be looking to track down Josh Ward here in a moment. I'm just looking at the speeds, Chris. He's running about 3/10 faster than the fourth place truck of Josh Ward, that number 92. And he's got about 31 laps to do it. We mentioned Chase Berry, Ryan Hinkle right now. They're staying out. They've got to come and get some Hank Thomas Performance Sunoco race fuel here in a minute to get them to the end of the race. Before we get there, though, let's go ahead and hear from our presenting partner, Hank Thomas Performance, and what they can do for you if you're in the North Carolina area or you race real race cars throughout the Southeast. We'll be back on the other end of this Hank Thomas Performance. Patrick.
Hank Thomas Performance is a Sunoco race fuel master distributor located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Our territory covers North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, as well as the Panhandle of Florida, providing quality Sunoco race fuel to many track and dealers throughout the region. In addition to Sunoco race fuels, Hank Thomas Performance distributes high-quality methanol, and at-track supplies, as well as miscellaneous gas containers and everyday products that the at-track racer wants and needs as they compete at their local asphalt and dirt ovals, plus drag strips. You can reach us at 800-848-HANK, or if you're in our area, come out and visit us at the shop.
Hello everybody, my name is Lee Campbell.
Hey, we're back here live for Slingshot Racing League Championship Race from Apex Energy. You just heard from the presenting partner, Hank Thomas Performance. Chris, we are getting ready for quite the finish here at Charlotte. Chris Smith and Ellis Thomas in the booth. Great racing going. Jacob Bradley looking to close the gap on what will become the leader, Josh Ward. He's in second place right now as we wait the final pit stop for the leader, 46 of Chase Berry. He's had a good run out there tonight. He's going to have to come and get some Sunoco race fuel to finish it off, though. But, Chris, this battle for second place, Josh Ward has got a mirror full of Jacob Bradley right now as they work their way through the lap car of Tony Caputo in that number 7. Jacob Bradley really focused on getting by Josh Ward as quickly as possible. You mentioned it before the break. It's a classic saying in NASCAR. Catching the driver is one thing, passing him is another. Right now, Jacob Bradley going to put that to the test. A little bit of a different line. Ward is running a little bit further up the track. Bradley trying to wrap that bottom right by that blue and white line. We'll see what they do down into turn 1. Similar tactics. Bradley down to the inside. Ward on the outside. Will Ward carry the momentum off the corner? Bradley just a little bit loose on the inside. It's enough for Ward to clear him. Down the backstretch, Bradley doesn't give up. He shows the nose down to the inside. Chris, he's driving that 50 machine hard as he almost slides up into the side of the 92 as they come down the front straightaway.
Yeah, this is the battle possibly for the win if we go green to the end. I don't know if these drivers behind them will have enough time to catch them. And Jacob Bradley knows that. He's got to get around Josh Ward as quickly as he can because he knows, oh, he's going to slide up. Oh, almost some contact between the two of them there off of turn 2.
That was a close one, Chris. This is an intense battle for the lead, and the effect this is going to have if they continue this much longer. Ward gets the run like a rocket ship off the outside corner down the front straightaway. Just when you thought Bradley had the lead, Ward says, not yet, sir. The longer they continue to race, though, Chris, there's a bright white and yellow number 51. Randy Bechdel behind the wheel. He is closing the gap, Chris. The longer these go back and forth, the closer that 51's going to creep up. 3 wide. Ryan Hinkle puts Jacob Bradley in a Hinkle Ward sandwich on the fresh tires. Bradley had to hold his line in the middle. Ward and Bradley contact as they come off a 4 down the front straightaway. We've got a battle for the lead. Randy Bechdel back there in third, loving what he's seeing.
Yeah, that's really, really tight, really close. Everybody did a nice job right there of keeping it straight. Oh, Jacob Bradley sliding up right there. Oh, they make a little bit of net code contact possibly there off of turn 2.
Jacob chased the lap car, just trying to mind his own business. Ducks underneath these guys. You mentioned it. He's on fresher tires. He's going to throw a pick on Jacob Bradley. Obviously unintentional, but Bradley gets a window shield full of the back of that 43 truck. He has got to be hot and heavy right now in that truck, trying to work his way by the 43. He's seeing that lead and that potential win slip away right in front of him, Chris. 22 laps left from Charlotte Motorspeedway in the season finale race for the Slingshot Racing League and the Apex Energy Truck Series, presented by Hank Thomas Performance.
Yeah, he is. And, you know, Jacob Chase is on pretty close to the same tires, a little bit fresher than these guys ahead of him. And that can be a little bit frustrating, you know, if you're a driver who's on the lead lap. But, you know, Jacob Chase is also, you know, in his own race, battling for his own position here as Bradley looking back to the inside of Ward. Don't think he can get there off of 2.
Yeah, they're rocketing down that backstretch here at Charlotte by the big screen. Jacob Bradley looks his nose down to the inside of Josh Ward. He's not going to have the momentum, very likely off this corner. He'll have to wait down into turn 1, but he's able to stay a little bit side by side, Chris. A little bit of side draft off the 92 there. Bradley's going to try it again down into turn 1.
He isn't. He's going to drive it in deep. Is it going to be a... Oh, it's a little bit of a slide job. Almost some contact by Ward. Man, that was a really nice job by Jacob Bradley right there. Great pass.
Jacob Bradley takes the lead here. Lap 113, just 20 laps left, Chris. But Randy Bechdel has been running some of the fastest laps on the track. He's slicing his way through lap traffic at an alarming rate. Bechdel in third, looking to see if he's got any gas left in the tank to see if he can get up to these drivers to battle for the win. Ward throws it deep down into turn one.
Hey, Josh Ward, he's going to see if he can possibly, I think he's a little bit too far back right here. See if he can get the run possibly on Jacob Bradley. Yeah, he's driving it in really, really hard. I mean, his last race of the season, we brought it up many times. There's no reason to leave anything in the tank right here. These drivers right here, these two right here, if I'm not mistaken, are both in that battle for third, aren't they?
They are both in that battle for third. Randy Bechdel, Jacob Bradley, all Josh Ward, second, third, and fifth position, Chris. This is shaping up to come down to the last lap to decide the payout positions for the season, Chris.
Yeah, not too far behind these guys. We've been sleeping on them all night. Here's Aaron Smith to the inside of Rye Jones for the fourth spot. Can
Chris,
he find a way to?
That time high.
Yeah, can he find a way to put together a string of laps here and maybe do something with these guys in front of him?
If he's able to, I'll say it now, Chris. If that number 70 truck is able to work, a little bit of contact there. If that 70 truck is able to work his way through the field and somehow get up to the front to win this race in the next 17 laps, I'm willing to say he's the best driver that's ever raced in Slingshot Racing.
Yeah, that's a pretty bold statement, but we were looking at the stats beforehand. Aaron Smith has, I think it was 70 starts, and I think he has 30 wins in those 70 starts in Slingshot Racing League history, which that's over 40% if I'm not mistaken. That's a very impressive number.
Yeah, neither one of us are math teachers, but I think your math is correct there. That is what we call beast mode with a plus 40% win percentage, Chris. That is unheard of. And speaking of wins, right now we've been talking about Aaron Smith, but Josh Ward really hasn't let the 50 truck get that too far out in front of him, as Randy Bechdel is also about 5 car lengths back. How much tires did the 50 and the 92 use up on that little dance they did for about 4 or 5 or more laps for the lead there just a couple laps ago?
Well, we're going to find out over the course of this run. It's hard to say. I mean, I definitely think they did use some tires up. Randy Bechdel back here is gaining on these guys. We're actually going to put the battle forecast up here. These are Race Insights powered by Pierce Graphics. And yeah, that time by, not a huge difference, but I think Randy Bechdel was also side by side with Jacob Chase. I think that that pass took him a little bit longer than maybe what he wanted to. Difference right there, not a lot. I think he's going to have to maybe chew into it a little bit faster than that if he wants to have a shot to maybe get after Jacob Bradley, if he can somehow clear Josh Ward quickly. Yeah,
right now just about 4 car lengths separating first from second and second from third, but they are starting to see yellow in their rear view mirror, Chris. Aaron Smith has been clicking off some fast lap times the past 5 to 6 laps. He has got the fastest truck on track, but he's also got 3 lap cars in front of him, and then 3 more cars he's going to have to pass. He's got his work cut out for him in the last 14 laps of this race. We mentioned it, 120 down, 14 to go. Bradley is your leader. He's got a mirror full of Josh Ward. Randy Bechdel looking to the inside, Chris. Is this the battle for second? Bechdel can't wait too long if he's going to chase down Jacob Bradley for the win.
Not at all, and we saw a couple of weeks back, we saw Randy Bechdel and Jacob Bradley have some contact coming to the checkered flag. Unfortunately, resulted in Jacob Bradley having I think that was at Chicagoland, if I'm not mistaken, having a worse finish than what he probably deserved in that race. So, I don't think obviously anything like that's going to happen. There was nothing malicious there, of course, but I think that definitely, ensures that these drivers are going to race each other really hard for the win here.
They are going to race each other incredibly hard in this battle for second place. Bechdel to the inside, Ward on the outside. They continue to dance down through turns 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, side by side. They can't do it for too long, or Jacob Bradley is going to set sail. Both drivers shift to the high line while Bradley stays to the low line, Chris. But meanwhile, Aaron Smith in the 70 has cleared lap traffic, and he is tracking down these leaders at a very, very rapid rate. Randy Bechdel side by side. I saw a little bit of contact there between the 92 and the 51. 92 of Josh Ward can't hang on the outside. Randy Bechdel clears him. Put Bechdel up to second place. He's going to try to suck a little bit of draft off the back of that 52 down the back straightaway. Into turn 3 they go.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get a run on that 50 of Jacob Bradley. See if he can maybe change his lineup. This is where I don't know if we'll see a lot of mirror driving here from Jacob Bradley. It's certainly a possibility. I think that Randy wants to try to get out of the draft, out of the dirty air, the wake of that 50 truck. See if he can turn down a little bit later, and you can see the momentum. We can see it right there in our ticker, how it counts down the backstretch. Now, he will give a little bit of it up right here on entry just because of his line. He's doing a little bit of a later apex than Jacob Bradley is. He's closing up on him down the front stretch here.
He definitely gets a bit of a run off of turn 4. Down they go into turn 1, Chris. You mentioned it, running a little bit different line. Bradley to the inside, Bechdel to the outside. Bechdel wants to get out of the dirty air, which can kind of disrupt the momentum of that 51 truck. He draws very close to the back bumper of the 52. You can see he's getting on the brakes a little bit sooner than the 50 of Jacob Bradley. Just 9, now 8 laps to go, Chris, as Bradley tries to Bradley's going to try to hold off Randy Bechdel for the lead. Meanwhile, Josh Ward and Aaron Smith doing battle. Aaron Smith, Chris, I'm watching that 70 truck. He is diving hard into the corners. He does have a fast truck, the fastest lap that time by, but he's only got now 7.5 laps to do it if he's going to do it, and he's going to have to pass the 2 fastest cars on the track, Randy Bechdel and Jacob Bradley, and we are focusing on this lead. Just to update the rest of the field, Josh Ward 4th, Wesley Pistol leading the Buttkicker Bracket Challenge in 5th position, Scotty Sobzak 6th, Rye Jones 7th, Patrick Piper, Chris, having a great run in 8th. Dustin Scruggs 9th, Johnny Rapp rounding out your top 10, Chris, but the battle right now is up front. They're going for the checkered flag here. Just 6.5 laps remain down the back stretch. Randy Bechdel, we continue to see the different approaches towards the corner. Bechdel has managed to stay within about a car length of the red and black number 50 of Jacob Bradley. He's going to get even closer this time by. Will he try to pick up the position? He stays to the outside, Chris. I think this might be inevitable for the number 51.
Yeah, it might be, but it also, if these guys get side by side, I'm not going to count out Aaron Smith behind him. I mean, you mentioned it while you were watching him drive up through the field. He is driving into the corner so hard and so deep. I'm shocked that he can make the speed that he can make in the center of the corner with as hard as he's driving it into the corner on entry. Down here in 1 and 2, he's running very high. Look at Jacob Bradley, how low he is. And then look how high Aaron Smith was on entry there. Now down here in 3 and 4, I think he'll be down low again. But I think Randy Bechdel has, he's inching closer and closer, but it's almost like he's kind of hit a brick wall. Like he's almost gotten as close as he can get.
And he's got to deal with Aaron Smith, who's getting even closer in that rear view mirror. In fact, Smith leans it down to the inside, down into turn number 1. Smith looks for second place. That number 70 machine is the fastest truck on track right now. He's got to catch Jacob Bradley if he's going to get the win, though. And Chris, just 4 laps now, 3.5 laps left to go. He can't afford to tango too long with Randy Bechdel, who's sitting in the second position. They're going to let Jacob Bradley run away with this if they race side by side for too long. That's Randy Bechdel's goal, probably, is to hold on to second, recognizing that truck has fallen off a little bit from where it was just a couple of laps ago, though, as they head down into turn number 1.
Yeah, Randy Bechdel's going to take Aaron Smith's line away down here in turns 1 and 2. What that does, we mentioned it before, just puts that dirty air disturbance on the nose of that 70, makes his truck a little bit tighter. Makes him have a little bit of an understeer right there in turns 1 and 2. You can see right here, Aaron Smith drives in a hard, going to try to peek that left front headlight out. Oh, and might have been some contact right there with the wall, as these drivers aren't leaving anything on the table.
not leaving anything on the table. Bechdel's got 2 laps to do it. He closes closer than we've seen him in the last 3 laps to the back bumper of Jacob Bradley. Different line, Chris. He's got a run going down the backstretch. That 51 might have something in it yet. Down into turn 3, they go. Bechdel high, Bradley low. Can Bechdel draw to the back bumper of the number 50? Jacob Bradley takes the white flag here at Charlotte in the championship finale for the Apex Energy Truck Series presented by Hank Thomas Performance. Bechdel, 2 corners left if he's going to do it. He goes high. Bradley elects to continue. He stuck with the one that brought him. He's going to dance down on the bottom. Randy Bechdel doing everything he can. Last chance for the driver, the number 51. Bradley drives it in low. Bechdel drives it in high. They're not going to be able to do anything with driver number 50, who led wire to wire. Jacob Bradley wins the championship finale. Bechdel second. Smith, your champion, finishes third.
I don't know about you, Ellis, but for a mile and a half with these trucks, I think that's about as good as it gets.
That is about as good as it gets. It is firework worthy, Chris, as they head down the backstretch. Drivers greeted with an array of fireworks. Jacob Bradley, Randy Bechdel, and Aaron Smith all gave us fireworks in those closing laps. What a great show and a great way, Chris, to finish out what has been an amazing season in these trucks.
It has been a great season, and we'll probably see some double burnouts here on the front stretch as Jacob Bradley, our race winner, gets his second win of the season. And Aaron Smith, we probably can say right here, and it looks like Aaron Smith's not going to do a burnout. We're going to let the race winner get his moment to shine right here. It's very respectful of him. Is going to walk away with this Apex Energy Truck Series championship tonight.
He is going to walk away with it, Chris. And we're going to walk away for just a moment while we collect these drivers in the booth to hear from your top 3 finishers in the champion, Aaron Smith. All right, we're going to see if we can get... Chris, I'll give you the choice. Do we want to save Aaron Smith till the last interview?
I'll leave that up to you.
All right, you don't want to make that decision. I get it. How about we go ahead, and we're going to go ahead and pull Randy Bechdel into the booth after finishing second tonight. Let me grab him real quick.
I'll talk to him if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, he's in.
All right, Randy Bechdel, our second place finisher tonight. This is the Slingshot booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Man, we watched your journey all night, and man, it looks like right there at the very end, you might have been able to put a challenge to Jacob Bradley, but it seemed like when you got to about that 2/10 range right there in that zone, just sort of seems like that's the zone right here in these trucks where it feels like they kind of hit that wall of air. Is that what you were experiencing a little bit right there? A little bit of maybe tightness as you got closer to him?
Yeah, it didn't help that I scraped the wall there a little bit and lost some time, and one was, I forget what it was, 3 to go or 4 to go maybe, but I was trying to do a different line. Like, I was better than Jacob on the exits of the corners, but just wasn't enough since he was good enough into the entry. But yeah, definitely tight if you're behind somebody.
So, yeah, we were talking like in the pre-race about, the possibilities that a second lane or, all the way up to the wall might possibly open up. And we kind of saw that, especially in that first stint. It seemed about like 25, 30 laps into that stint that, it really opened up where drivers could, sort of explore a little bit. Is that something that you were surprised by, or is that something that, you were kind of expecting possibly here tonight?
Yeah, I was expecting it to be too wide. People around the wall. It's how the new what's it called? I forget what iRacing called it. The new track temperature thing or whatever they got. Just helps people move up the outside at certain tracks like Charlotte, and helps just tracks like this. It's hard to pass on the bottom with the new tire wear stuff.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, sometimes, just running that bottom, like that's somewhere where I'm really comfortable at myself too. So I definitely know that frustration where, tracks like this right here where you can't really get to that position that you really want to. But man, you had a great season, really, really solid season. Definitely went down swinging tonight. Really, really solid second place finish in the championship tonight. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go celebrate this great season?
I want to thank all the Payday teammates. Great win, Jacob, tonight. He's been hating himself for not getting more than one win this season, so good for him. Thank you guys for broadcasting and hosting the league again. You guys always do a great job, and all the great sponsors. Like Thomas, Apex, UD Awards. I'll even say Evan this time.
Well, man, we really appreciate you. We appreciate you being part of Slingshot. You've been a part of it since the beginning, and we love having you here. That's Randy Bechdel, our second place finisher tonight. Second place in points this season. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll go ahead and hear from our winner tonight. Jacob Bradley will pull him into the booth. Hey, Jacob Bradley, driver number 50. It's Ellis and Chris in the booth. You got a copy, my friend.
Yeah, I got you guys.
Hey, man, congratulations. Big win. Number 2 tonight on the season. I know you haven't racked up as many wins as you would like coming off that championship season last season, the Xfinity cars, but great job tonight. Great way to cap off a season. Talk to us about what it took to hold off those drivers who were charging in the end, because we know you had your handful, even just getting by Josh Ward before that final kind of battle ensued. Talk to us about the final 20 laps or so.
Yeah, it was a really tough battle getting around Josh there. It was really hard to pass all night, and I just kind of got stuck there. And I kept trying to do slide jobs. One of them finally ended up working, and I was really thankful of that because I knew I was starting to run out of tire making those moves. He was doing a really good job holding me up. But that allowed them to get a little bit closer, and then when Randy got to me, I felt a little bit more confident because I knew I had a little bit of help when Aaron was going to get there. And that ultimately paid off in the end. I was able to get win number 2. It only took leading like 36% of the laps this season, but we finally got another one.
Well, man, you look good out there. I know you had to work for this one. You had to work for this one tonight. That is for sure. Were you nervous about the fuel strategy at all over the course of the race, particularly that last time?
I wasn't really concerned about fuel. I know some people were a little bit tight. My auto fuel had to be an extra like 2 or 3 laps of gas, and that was ultimately enough. Just enough for me to do some burnouts over here on the front stretch, and then I was running out, so I backed up really quick. But I think it was really just if you short pit and you didn't have your auto fuel set, that would turn to a problem.
Well, man, you made it look, I won't say you made it look easy out there tonight, but you put on a great show. Congratulations on win number 2. Great way to cap off this season. I'm pretty sure that's going to put you into 3rd place. You're going to lock up that 3rd place points. I know we had a tight battle going for 3rd place in the points between you and 4 other drivers, so I know you'll be glad to know you locked that one up tonight. Congratulations on that. Before we let you go celebrate the win, you got any shout-outs?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for doing the broadcast, all the league sponsors, Apex Energy, UD Awards, and everybody who kind of supports me, my family, and my teammates. I couldn't have done without them. I didn't really have much practice going into today, and we kind of discussed it through practice and ended up figuring out what we had to do to put in victory lane.
Well, man, good job tonight. I know your semester is probably getting ready to come to a close in the next couple of weeks, so enjoy that time off and plenty of time to practice, right?
Of course, of course.
All right, man. Jacob Bradley, your winner tonight. Have a good evening.
You do.
All right, before we interview our 3rd place finisher and our champion, I do want to let you know the winner of that diecast giveaway, that 1/64th scale Brad Keselowski car. All you had to do was just say hi in the chat and let us know you were there. Our winner tonight is Owen Garvey. Owen Garvey. is the winner for that. Owen, you can email us at, I'm typing in the chat right now, ssracingleagues@gmail.com. To let us know where to send that diecast, and we'll get it out in the mail ASAP. Don't worry, we got plenty of more of those giveaways coming up for the upcoming season starting in May, but we'll talk more about that later. Let's go ahead and hear from Aaron Smith, your third place finisher and your winner tonight. Chris, let's just handle this one together. All right, Aaron Smith, third place finisher tonight, but you are the champion here in season number 6, the Apex Energy Truck Series presented by Hank Thomas Performance. This is Ellis and Chris in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I've got you.
Hey man, it was touch and go a little bit there earlier on in the race. Saw you make a couple of pit stops. You made us a little bit nervous there. Was this for added drama? What was going on there at the beginning?
Well, with the way the paddles were dealing with the acceleration on the starts, I figured it'd be better if I was deeper in the field with fewer trucks behind me. Because if I started in first gear, the throttle assist would kick in because it doesn't let you do anything else with the if you're using buttons as your pedals. But I somehow ran through the field. I don't know where that came from. Like I felt like my throttle control was terrible through the corner, but I didn't have much of a choice. But I was just one step too late there. It was a great race. I'm glad we were able to run it green.
Now, Aaron, I'm going to jump in right here, Ellis. I just want to ask you about that last run, that last stint that when you were making that charge up there through a lot of these drivers, it seemed like, and we were trying to watch your corner entry compared to a lot of other drivers, it seemed like you could just drive it in so deep into the corner, maybe compared to some of those other guys, and still keep the momentum up through the center of the corner. Did you maybe like surprise yourself a little bit and just how hard you could drive it in the corner and still keep rolling through the center of the corner?
No, I've always had it figured out here for some reason, but the paint on the bottom has a lot of extra grip. I don't know why that's the case. I don't know if that's realistic, but I made use of that. I tried to keep the left side tires down there as much as I could. Tried to carry as much speed as you said, and fortunately I was able to just get within a few car lengths of them there, and just wasn't enough there.
Well, man, let's talk about this season as a whole. This has been a pretty dominant season for you. We talked about your dominance in just slingshot racing over the past several seasons as a whole, but this season has just been something different from you in terms of what you've been able to do. I'm just looking at your stats right now. You've got 5 poles. Your average finish is 9th, and I'm pretty sure that was dragged down by just a couple early exits from races, but you've got 6 wins this season. That has really not been matched by a lot of drivers before in any of our seasons, so congratulations on that. Talk to us about what it took, I should say, to put together just such a complete season. What does that look like for fans who maybe don't understand sim racing and maybe the amount of preparation that's often involved, and kind of what things you're thinking about in terms of how to kind of maximize your performance?
Well, it's taken a few years worth of experience in the trucks to really reach this point. I don't put much time into practicing over the course of the week leading into the race, but whenever I do show up to the practice session that's attached to the race, I do like to find the limits. I crash a lot in practice, as y'all might know, and I use those limits and kind of back off maybe 75, 50% and run that over the course of the race, and more often than not it works out for me. So I'll continue to use that approach from here on, and hopefully it continues to work for me as well as it has this season.
Well, finding the limits, you certainly found them this season, and you had a great run. Congratulations on this championship, my friend. I know we're going to be getting a couple of pieces of hardware sent out to you. You also won the Mazda MX-5 Spring Classic Championship, and I was waiting to save that ring because I thought maybe I'll just save a little money shipping everything in one box, and it turned out that will work out. So we'll get that hardware out to you later this week, man. Congratulations. Before we let you go celebrate that championship, you got any shout outs?
Yeah, as always, I'd like to thank all of you at the Slingshot Racing League for putting this show on, as well as Hank Thomas Performance, Apex Energy, Sim Racing Concepts, Evan Pienta Designs, UD Awards, Buttkicker, the Stage Break Podcast, and Pine Mountain Auto Supply for supporting the league, and me by extension. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next for the league. I won't be around next season. I'll be taking a step back, but only one step back. I'll still be putting the tutorials up that you can find on the Slingshot Racing League YouTube channel, and maybe next season I'll be back. Or season
And-
after next. You know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. You say it better than we do, man. So well spoken. We are proud to have you as a champion of that number 7. We'll miss you this summer, but you mentioned it. We'll be getting tutorial videos up every week for the drivers that are going to be racing these Gen 6 cars over the course of the 8-week summer season. You can find those on our YouTube. And how can we find you if anyone wants to watch what you're doing? Can you keep us up to date on that?
Yeah, my Instagram, my Twitter, Aaron Smith Racing. It's not difficult to find. Has the same yellow race car on the front of it. So if you want to just keep in touch, I guess you can find me on those platforms. And looking forward to coming back whenever.
Awesome, man. Well, Aaron Smith, great job, great season. Look forward to seeing you in the future. Have a good night.
All right, thank you.
All right, Chris, man, I can't get over what a great race this was. One caution over the course of the evening. We got to see amazing racing all night long, side by side. We saw some 3-wide at some point, multiple points over the course of the night. We saw a couple of rounds of green flag pit stops. We saw comers and goers. We saw battles for the lead. We saw a 4-way battle for the win in the closing laps. You can't ask for much more than that. We've talked to our top 3 finishers, but Josh Ward had a really good night in 4th position. He was kind of part of that battle over the final portion of the race.
Yeah, he was. And
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in right there, but I was really pleasantly surprised by the racing tonight. We heard how hard it was to pass. Not surprised at all to hear that, especially on a 1.5 miles in these trucks. It can be frustrating. It can be really difficult, but I loved what I saw in the sense that we could move all over the track. I thought that this put on a really good show. I was really happy with it. As far as 1.5 miles go with the trucks, I think that this is definitely one of the better combinations.
Yeah, it was a great night. It was super entertaining. Josh Ward put on a great show. Scotty Sobczak, he was up in the mix for a while, ends up with a top 5. Chris, Wesley Pistol finished 6th. That means he is your Buttkicker Bracket Challenge winner. Took on 4 different drivers in head-to-head fights over the course of the final 5 races of the season. And with that victory, he's going to pick up a Buttkicker Gamer Plus setup, which is going to mount to his rig. He's going to be able to feel every single vibration of the car. And you don't just have to have a racing rig for it. You can have a rolling desk chair, lots of mounting options for those things. Great products. Check them out. Link to their websites in our description. Super proud to partner with them. And great job for Wesley tonight. Ryan Jones, we saw him being in the mix as well. Chris, how many drivers do we have in the mix that we thought could possibly win this race? I'm counting at least 7 or so at some point over the course of the evening. Patrick Piper, great job finishing 8th. I know Patrick's mom watches these races sometimes. Dustin Scruggs, we mentioned it, such a gentleman to race with, gets out of the way for a lot of championship drivers, finishes 9th. Johnny Rapp, Chris, we saw him going at it with Scott Tompkins for much of this race. He edges out Scott Tompkins just by a little bit at the end of this race to finish 10th. Tompkins finishes 11th. I'll let you walk through 11th through 20th.
Yeah, and I was about to say, you can't imagine where Scott Tompkins was, right behind him. These guys were around each other all night. So, yeah, Scott Tompkins brings it home 11th. Chase Berry in 12th. We saw Chase try to stay out a little bit longer right there, and then he charged up through those guys when he had those fresh tires on his truck. Chris Pierce brings it home in 13th. Lee Campbell, our driver of the race, our spotlight driver of the race, he's going to bring it home in 14th. Ryan Hinkle, I don't think that result right there shows the speed that he had tonight. I think that he stayed out a little bit longer maybe on some of these stints, and I think that maybe that hurt his overall finish just because he wasn't able to drive up through the field. Really impressed with his long run speed tonight. Patrick Colby in 16th. Nick DeCesare, the last truck on the lead lap, in 17th. Cordell Loughran brings it home in 18th. Jacob Chase, we saw him, we talked about him in the lead up tonight, racing against Wesley Pistol for that Buttkicker Bracket Challenge prize. Unfortunately for him, he's going to bring home 19th, but hey, he put together a great final stretch to the end of the season right here to put himself in position for that, and Matt Kuntz is going to round out the top 20 tonight.
Yeah, Matt Scherf stays clean all night, runs 21st. Good job for the driver, the number 4. Tony Caputo had some early trouble, but got it back together to finish 22nd. Paul Thomas, didn't hear much from him all night, just kind of logged laps and had a good race, 23rd. Dan Berg, 24th. Sean Johnson has some trouble early as well, along with Dan Berg, that put them out of the race. Both of those drivers finished 24th and 25th, respectively. Chris, this is our last race for a few weeks.
Yep.
We're going to be missing our fans in the chat. We appreciate everyone who's joined us all season long and continues to join us every season. If you're still watching or you're watching the replay and you haven't hit that subscribe button, it doesn't cost you a thing. Just hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you get all the updates from us when we put them out. Get all the live racing when it goes live. It means a lot to us, and it helps us get your favorite drivers in the racing that you enjoy watching in front of more fans. So first of all, thank you for all the fans who have tuned in and made our chats enjoyable to be a part of week in and week out. And Chris, sponsors, we need to talk about everyone who's made this season possible. Apex Energy continues to be the premier partner with Slingshot Racing League. They're going to be back for the Apex Energy Summer Series. This is our third Summer Series, Chris. We're starting our third full year of racing, and Apex has been there for every single one of them, which is why we couldn't be more excited that after kind of running out of stock, they're going to be back in June with a better, improved product, different flavors, and we can't wait to be a part of that relaunch that's coming in June. We'll let you know how you can get your hands on that product, whether you're a weightlifter, whether you're a gamer, whether you're a mom or a dad who just needs a little bit of extra energy. I know that Apex has supported us, and it's a great product, and we can't wait to have them back next season. So Apex, Hank Thomas Performance, they've been fueling us all season long. They helped pull together the Fast 5 contest. And Chris, I don't know if anyone's won that. I haven't had a chance to look through our guesses if anyone has won the Fast 5 and picked Bradley, Bechdel, Smith, Ward, and Sobzak as their top 5. They're going to pick up $75. We'll let them know if they do, obviously. But hey, Thomas Performance has been instrumental in making that happen and just coming on board this season. Thank you. Shout out to them. You can find their website in our video description. UD Awards. Aaron Smith's taking that UD Awards Championship hardware home, Chris, and it is a great-looking trophy. You see it in the opening trailer all season long. We're going to be shipping that out, but we'll have more UD Award trophies in the future. They've been with us since the beginning as well. If you're looking for any sort of like prize or trophy or recognition plaque, check out the link in our description for them as well. Amazing quality, even better prices for their stuff that you really just don't come across that often. Truly customizable. They do a great job over there. Buttkicker, we've mentioned them with our Buttkicker Bracket Challenge. I know I'm reading through these sponsors, but they make this season possible as well. So Buttkickers come on. Aaron Smith's going to win a Buttkicker as well for winning the championship, Chris, as if he needed anything else to make him better. Aaron Smith's going to pick up the Buttkicker along with Wesley Pistol. And then lastly, Evan Pienta Designs. You've seen those race logos on the bottom of the screen and in our social media every week. He puts together those, but he also puts together so many of the paint schemes that you see on track every single season. Slingshot Racing would not be what it is without Evan Pienta Designs. If you need any sort of graphic work, including iRacing paint schemes and wraps, custom numbers, custom logos, check out Evan's website. You can find him on social media as well. Links to that in the video description. Chris Pierce Graphics, man. Everything you're seeing on the screen in terms of overlays and statistics and tickers, Chris Pierce is the one who created those. He races with us, but we're also lucky to have him as one of our kind of UI designers for these broadcasts. And boy, they looked great this season. And, man, we had our set of challenges early on in the season, Chris, but we made it. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great. Yeah, it was a great end of the season. You mentioned it. We did have some challenges. We had some challenges here in the broadcast booth with some technical difficulties this season, more than we've probably ever had. Just a lot of it just deals with just bad luck. Can't help the weather and can't help internet service providers dropping your connection all of a sudden. So that's a lot of that's just can't be avoided. And but I think that it was a great end of the season. Really loved watching this championship battle. That was our first time doing a chase as well. We didn't even bring that up. This is our first time doing that, and anybody who knows me knows that I'm a traditionalist in every sense of the word. So the fact that Ellis was able to talk me into doing a chase this season knows that he's a pretty good salesman, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great battle to the end, and I think that we had obviously a very deserving champion in Aaron Smith, and a great battle to the end. And want to give a special shout out to all of those sponsors that you mentioned. They definitely make all this happen, and a lot of them, as you mentioned, Apex, UD Awards, 7PM Designs. They've been with us since the very beginning, and Chris Pierce, what he does for us makes this broadcast look the way it does. Hank Thomas Performance. I know that you mentioned them, but I just want to give a special shout out to them as well, and to you for all your hard work that you put in. You definitely, this is not a job in which it's you don't get necessarily thanked for this job, and you definitely put in a lot of hard work, and I just want to give a special shout out to you and to our other league admins, Scotty Sobzak, Johnny Rapp. They put in a lot of great work as well. They did a great job organizing the Mazda series that you saw on Wednesday nights, and they are definitely a very, very valued asset to Slingshot Racing League, and our race controller Sam Maxwell. He's been a part of our league as well. Thank you so much to him for everything that he's done for us, and don't know if Sam's going to be back with us next season, but if he's not, I definitely wish him the best of luck going forward for sure.
Absolutely, and Chris, likewise, thank you for being a consummate professional. We had some technical difficulties, and you handled them like a pro every single time we ran into them, and the amount of work that it takes to talk and hit buttons at the same time and bring us the incredible shots that you do every single week could not be done by many, and certainly could not be done with me. And if you watched a couple races this season, you would definitely know what I'm talking about. So great job, man. Thank you for all the hard work and your dedication, and just continuing to operate this with me and our admin that you mentioned as well, Johnny and Scotty, coming on and helping out. Just everyone who's made this season possible, the fans, and I know everyone who's watching or is going to watch probably sick of us stroking each other's ego, but final races of the season, thanks are in order for a lot of people who make all this possible. Chris, I like to say it all the time, it takes a village, and special shout out to my wife as well, who she says she doesn't allow me to do it in the sense that I have to ask permission, but she's gracious enough to give me the time to do something that I enjoy. And I really love. So thank you to her for being supportive, and thanks for all of our drivers as well. That's what it's all about. I get a kick out of watching these guys go out here and do this every single week, and feeling fulfilled that way is something that I get take a lot of pride in. So, man, congratulations on finishing another season. And before we duck out of here and say goodbye from Charlotte for the final time this season, don't worry, we're coming back in 3.5 weeks or so. We'll be cranking up our Apex Energy Summer Series in the Gen 6 car. If you don't know what that's about, you could check out the trailer for it on our videos on YouTube and see what those races are going to look like and get hyped for that upcoming season. We got some big changes coming down the road that we're excited to share more about. But hey, to find all that out and to get reminders and updates, go ahead and hit subscribe on YouTube. I promise this is going to be the last time you hear me say it for a few weeks. And Chris, I think we're ready to shut this down for the final time this season.
Let's do it.
Everybody, go ahead.
I say let's do it.
It's been a pleasure. Ellis Thomas and Chris Smith in the Slingshot Racing booth. If it's Tuesday, it's been the Apex Energy Truck Series presented by Hank Thomas Performance. So long from Charlotte, everyone. We'll see you in a few weeks.